Okay.
Good morning. Welcome back to Dr. Kim's Going Live. My name is Lara, and this is Dr. Kim. Hi,
Hey
Dr.
guys,
Kim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm
Obviously,
good.
you've got a little allergies going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oklahoma in the springtime is beautiful, but the wind just makes everything come up, and it's just
I know
sick
it's
allergies. It's not fun.
no, allergies are not fun. I haven't. I take medicine, just allergy medicine, over the counter all the time, just because I hate it. I hate to
Me
have
too.
my
I
eyes and all
definitely,
that. Yeah.
yes, I'm experiencing all of that right now. It's a lot of fun. Not really. I'm just kidding. Just gonna dive straight in. So some fun questions from last week's dispatch. What is the tallest breed of dog in the world? And then it's a Great Dane. And then what color of eyes do most humans have? And that's brown. That's just very interesting. I just thought that was fun.
Did you think it was brown? Would you have guessed
Uh,
brown?
yeah, I probably would have guessed brown. And then the Great Dane was kind of,
I
yeah,
know. I thought that was interesting too.
yeah.
It's kind of fun when I do that in the dispatch of just
I
trying
love
to, just some different trivia kind of stuff to use in the first part of it, just that people have fun with, or they can try to guess and see if they know the
Yeah,
answers. And most of them, I don't know at the first in either. I have to look up the
yeah.
answers too. So,
It's just fun little facts that I got to learn today.
yeah, absolutely. And then you go ask somebody else and say,
Yeah.
you don't know that. Well, you need to be reading the dispatch. That's what they can do. There you go.
Yes, that's a great idea. So just kind of going off that, every Tuesday today, we have a new Awesome Marriage podcast. And today's podcast is How to Tell When Your Marriage Issues Are Solved. And it's episode 460. So in a brief summary, can you just kind of tell how do you know if you resolved your marriage issues or if you're just kind of covering it up with something?
Yeah, I think the main thing for people to look at is it come up again? If it keeps coming up, then you really haven't resolved it. One of you
Okay.
haven't. And so I think when you've really, for Nancy and I, we struggle with that a lot. And I think what we finally came to is, so, okay, let's make sure we've resolved it. And if we agree we have resolved it, neither one of us is going to bring it up again. And I think sometimes it just gets to be a habit, or you're upset. And so, okay, what have I got in my ammunition deal back here? And so you pull something out. No, we resolve that. So I think it's something, sometimes it's habit, sometimes the thing isn't really resolved, but whichever it is, I think you get some good ideas in the podcast of how to deal with that.
Yeah. And then if you do want to listen to that, you can just go to awesomemarriage.com and then there's a little podcast tab. So second, your dispatch comes out every Thursday. So this week's dispatch is how comfortable are you with your spouse? So just kind of in a few short sentences, can you explain that and just kind of what to look forward to each week? I know we just kind of went over the trivia. So there's obviously a little bit of trivia on there, which is fun.
Yeah, we try the dispatch is just kind of a combination of stuff, and then there's always kind of a blog type thing into it. But there's usually the trivia. Usually, if I review a book or something that I've read or seen or something like that, I always find one of our YouVersion plans. I try to highlight. We've got over 40 of them, and I know sometimes there are people looking for plans. I think, how do I even find that?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to highlight one each week, and most of them are for couples. Sometimes I'll do one that's for men or something a little bit different. And then we talk about the podcast, the Better Man podcast. What's on that? That's once a month that comes out that Coley Taylor and I do. Of course, the Awesome Marriage podcast comes out every week, just to highlight so you kind of know what that's going to be in that week. And then the insights is really just I have a topic, and usually it's something that's going on in my mind that we just kind of talk about and give some insight to it, and kind of always try to challenge you with something with it so that there will be a next step. But for me, if you're going to read something, what are you going to do with it? And so I try to give you some guidance of some ideas of things you can do with it. So a lot of times I read something and I think, God, that's really good. And then I walk away from it and I don't do anything about it. So if there's a next step, we've got a better chance of doing that. So those are the main things that are in it. And I have a lot of fun writing it. And I think we're getting close to 30,000 subscribers on it. So hopefully
Awesome.
if you're not subscribing, we'd love for you to subscribe, and you can find it on the link on the website.
Yeah. And just kind of what you said, I love the dispatch because you kind of get a little bit of everything in just that one blog. You kind of get, like you said, you have a summary of the Awesome Marriage podcast, of a Better Man podcast, of obviously your dispatch. And it's just fun. It's just fun to look into and just read. So check that out. And then you have a vlog. So last week, It was 5 simple ways to make up after a fight. And you mentioned, actually, my husband asked this question, and I was like, that's a great question to ask Dr. Kim.
That's good.
So you mentioned if you're kind of in the doghouse, to bring a woman flowers is a nice I'm sorry gesture. So what do women do if they were in the wrong? What's a kind of like I'm sorry gesture to do?
Well, most women tell me they're never in the wrong.
Okay.
No.
I know for me that's not true.
But honestly, I think I don't know why it seems to fall on the guy. If the woman's in the wrong, I think with us, if Nancy was in the wrong, I think for her just saying, hey, I'm sorry. This is where I got off. And maybe if it's like, I was having a bad day and I didn't let you know. I need to let you know when I'm having a bad day. But I think for me, I don't want her to buy me flowers. I don't want her to buy me anything. And I think, and I don't know that, if you're going to get flowers, you got to make sure your wife likes flowers. If she doesn't like flowers or is allergic to them, don't buy flowers. But sometimes as a guy, just for me to get something tangible, and so I can pick up flowers or maybe a card. Nancy loves cards, things like that you can just kind of do to, I don't know, just it's a way of a gesture of saying that. But I think the main thing when you have a fight is resolve it and both be remorseful for what you did in it. Usually in a fight, both contribute. You can't fight by yourself. And so even the one who didn't start it, usually, if I get roped into a fight, I'm not perfect in it. I'll say something I shouldn't have said or do something I should have done. Because I think one thing God wants us to do, we got to learn from your fights, because you don't want to keep fighting. If we kept fighting like we did in the early years of marriage, our whole marriage would have been dead by now. Seriously, we'd have killed each other. And so you want to learn from that and grow. And so I think it's good after a fight, hey, what could I have done different? What could you have done different? What could we have done different? And so the flowers or something like that is a gesture, but the main thing is making up and moving forward with it. And it's a fun vlog. Vlogs are fun. They're video, and I love doing them.
Yeah, I think that's great. So what are you currently listening to? Any music, podcast, Audible books?
So
each week,
my almost 12-year-old granddaughter was with me yesterday. So we were listening to pop, which I love. I love pop. And, and she knows all the songs and artists. So I can ask her questions about it. It's amazing how much she knows about those kind of things. Podcast. I listen to a variety. I listen to Dylan Dodson, Christina Dodson, who's our COO, her husband's podcast each week, because I think Dylan it's just been fun to watch him as he's been preaching the last 3 or so years to grow. I love listening to him. I listen to one that's probably nobody else had listened to. It's not a scientist. It's called TWIV, and it's This Week in Virology. And I started listening to that during COVID because they talk a lot about COVID stuff. Some of it's over my head, but there's a couple of people on that they really have a sense of humor. They're not just like, and so that's kind of fun. And then I think for other podcasts, I love Levi Lesko. He's a pastor in Dakota. Where is Levi? Anyway, he's somewhere where it's really cold and all that kind of stuff. I like listening to him. And then sometimes I'll just go around and pick up different ones and just kind of see what other things are going on.
Okay. What show are you watching, and where can you watch it?
We have started watching what somebody told us about All Creatures Great and Small. It's on something. I know we get it through Amazon, but it's not. I think it was Masterpiece originally, and it's on Jen Harriet's book. It's just a really nice. A lot of things we watch have some things in it that I think, it's just a little off and everything. This one is so good. Just a great story. Really, really good. So we've both really enjoyed doing that. Obviously, since we don't go to movies much, I think they're starting to open up, but hopefully, but really, right now here at the movies, there's not really anything new on. It's and so, that's a good thing that we like to watch. I am listening to a book now that I really like on Audible. Let me pull it up because I don't know why I'm not thinking what the name of it is. It's called Think Again. It's by an author I like, Adam Grant. Really, really good book. It's just kind of thinking through things, not believing everything that you hear, and kind of how to think through things like that. It's a challenging book. I always try to read something nonfiction or listen to something nonfiction that I think makes me better or helps me or challenges me a little bit. And so I'm always listening to a book.
That's great. What are your top 3 favorite pizza toppings?
Pepperoni, black olives, and Jalapenos.
Yum. Do you and Nancy like the same kind of toppings, or do you have
No,
to switch it in?
no, no, thank goodness they'll split
Easy.
them. No, she likes all of it. She would like black olive. She likes the black olives, and then onion, mushroom, stuff like that.
Okay.
The
I'm kind
veggie,
of a
more of
veggie
a veggie kind of deal. But yeah, bell pepper, stuff like that. She likes.
Yeah.
But I can eat just about any kind of pizza.
Anything.
Yeah, I love it.
Quote of the day.
Oh man, what would be a quote of the day? I don't know that I have one.
Okay, well, what about your verse? Bible verse.
You know what I was thinking this morning? I was thinking about a verse, and I just kind of went back to John 3:16. God so loved the world that gave his only begotten Son, because I think we just need Jesus so bad right now in our lives in the world.
Definitely.
And I thought, God gave us the answer to a lot of things that we face, and sometimes it's the last place we go. And so I think I don't know, it just hit me when I was thinking about it this morning that there's so much in that verse. And if we would really just embrace Jesus and what he stood for and how he showed us how to live, even if you're not a Christian, Jesus was a great role model. He showed us how to live, how to treat people, how to act toward people, how to think about things. So to me, that just kind of hit, that's probably the first verse I ever memorized when I was 4 or 5 years old. And so when I think of it now, I think of it, oh, that was my little kid verse. But, it really has a lot of applications.
Well, applies today. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great. Do you have any fun plans this week for spring break?
Probably just some more time with grandkids. We had all the grandkids, and we went downtown Oklahoma City to our big park downtown, Scissortail Park, yesterday, and we ate at a restaurant in a new hotel and just kind of played around the playground. And so I'll probably they're getting ready to leave town tomorrow, and so the older grandkids will be around. And what I love doing with them, we just hang out together. Tommy's he's 15, and Tag is 18, and we just hang out together. So I kind of say, hey, what do you want to do? And that's where we go. And yeah, it really is. So, there's spring breaks when our kids were growing up, and there were other times that we would go somewhere. This year we didn't. Last year we didn't. And so you find that we find a lot of fun things to do just here.
Yeah, in Oklahoma City, I mean, there's some great places. The new park is awesome.
The park is incredible. For those of you who don't live here, come and go to Scissortail Park. I mean, there were so many people down there yesterday, and kids and all kinds of stuff.
And just to walk around. Yeah, get out.
Go on a paddle boat on the lake, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people like to spring clean when obviously spring comes into effect and we're officially in spring. Do you and Nancy do any kind of spring cleaning, or do you guys plant flowers or focus on the garden, or do you guys do anything like that, or just kind of the same year round?
No, we do. We love to plant. We went last weekend and we planted a few vegetable things, some tomato plants, which make it. Yeah, I love that. And then Nancy always plants the flowers and stuff. She does a great job. Our house always looks awesome with the flowers. So she plans that, and then we'll get those and plant. And probably we don't do that till April 1st, just to make sure that we don't get white freeze or something. We had some good friends last year that got itchy. They ended up buying their whole plant deal 3 times because she planted early and it froze, later and it froze, and finally the last one it didn't freeze. So we try not to do that.
You never know Oklahoma what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, and that's fine. And we kind of enlarged this little garden. We did tomatoes and some herbs and okra, which is a kind of a Oklahoma deal. A lot of people don't know about fried okra, which is, I feel so sorry for them. It is just so good. It's so good.
Do you think it's hard to take care of like tomatoes and okra?
No, they're pretty easy once I always get really good soil. I'm going to do a little garden show here. Do really good soil and then keep it fertilized. There's a thing that I found for tomatoes. It comes in a bottle. It's a thick liquid that I put on each week. It's called Dr. Earth something for tomatoes. Okay. Oh my gosh. Last year we had so many tomatoes. And so, I mean, tons of them. We plant we're probably about 10 plants, something, and we got so many tomatoes. We're giving away to people, throwing them at people, just everything. But so that's fun. I grew up my granddad had a farm, and I spent all the time my kid growing up there, summers and all kinds of stuff. So I love gardening. I love planting and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's a great escape for me.
Yeah. We were actually talking about maybe starting a little garden this year, but I didn't know how much work it was going to be.
So have you done it yet?
No. I'm going to wait and see how yours goes.
Okay. I'll take a picture. I'll take a picture. We can show it on here one week.
So I think we have time for maybe just one more question. So I know each week I try to ask you what your win for the week was. And I saw that you chose an illustrator for your new children's book, Jeremy Wells. Do you want to kind of talk about your new book a little bit?
Yeah, I love the book is called Eli's Best Friend, and it really came out of a time when Eli, my youngest grandson, but Eli was probably 3 or 4, and he was so curious, and he'd be in our backyard and he'd just be bent over and he could see things in the grass, bugs and stuff that I could never see.
Yeah.
And then he would talk about that God made everything and stuff like that. So the book's called Eli's Best Friend, and Eli's best friend is God, and it's his relationship with God, whether it's at school or whatever, and God's there with him. He's always including God in his life. Jeremy is a unbelievable illustrator. I am so excited that we have him, and he's going to be part of this project. He puts in all kinds of details. Like we've got the one scene where Eli is looking at the bugs. All the little bugs have little faces and characters. So I think it's something that's going to appeal to the parents, to the kids, and the storyline is really good. I like it a lot. It's been so much fun to do. I've never done a children's book. I love doing it. Hopefully this will be, I don't know if people like it. We'll do some more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. If you have any questions to ask Dr. Kim, just leave it in the comment section below or send us a message. And remember to like and follow us on our Facebook and Instagram at Awesome Marriage and at Kim Kimberling. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube page at Awesome Marriage. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, Lara.